Committee as a whole meeting for June 7th, 2022. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present.
Ms. Ballard.
Present.
Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
All right, I would like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item number 3 is the adoption of tonight's agenda. I would like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
With the adoption, or the agenda adopted, item 4 is discussion items, and the only item that we have for discussion is Ms. Ashley Creech.
Hi. I'm sorry, can you guys hear me? I don't know if it's on. Is it good?
I think it's just for the people at home.
Okay, so it's not
It doesn't
okay.
make our voices louder.
Okay, cool. I'm like, it's my first time. I don't know how to do anything. Thank you, guys. My name is Ashley Creech. I coach Little League Cheer for Norwood. I was coming to you guys to see if it was a possibility if we could do our service project for the grounds of middle school and high school by planting flowers and picking up trash around the ground. And that's really all I have to propose. Sorry, that's it. That's it. It's very simple.
Do you guys have a relationship with a local nursery or a sponsor for that?
I was just
programming,
gonna
or-
buy some flowers and
You don't have a
plant
community
them.
sponsor yet?
No, we just do a service project every year for the squad. So this year we wanted to do it for the schools since we practice here at the middle school and high school.
Well, I'd say ask John Peter over there. As long as it's okay with him.
Is it good?
John's probably like, yes.
Yes, we'll water them and make sure they stay alive.
So I think we have on the agenda this summer beautification of the grounds, correct? So maybe it would be a good partnership if, since we know what we want in those spaces, we just partner with the cheerleaders to have them put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that they can.
It's actually, the putting isn't the hard part. It's the summertime weeding and watering that is hard. So yeah, we can work out something.
Okay, perfect. We do practice in the evening with parents. It might be easier. I don't know if that changes the way things are set up, just because I know most kids probably won't be able to get there till the evening time.
It's a little cooler to work outside though if you
Yeah.
wanted to do those projects. in the
Okay,
evening.
I was like, just making sure that
I
that
wouldn't
all
want them there at
disciplines.
noon. Oh my goodness, no.
That would be fine.
Plants don't like that.
Okay,
They like
good.
at night or in the morning.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I
Just get
had.
with me on that.
So would you guys get with me about when to do it, or?
You too, right there.
Yeah, Julie or
Yeah,
John Peter would be the two best contacts for that.
Okay. Do you guys have
This
your
Julie,
email
not
or?
his wife.
I have a card actually for you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can get you a card and, oh, thank you. We can connect.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for keeping the kiddos involved.
Thank you. Yes, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for visiting us.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks. I have to go to a coaches meeting now. So.
Okay, have fun.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, that was it for the discussion portion of our agenda. We'll move on to the Education Committee, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
All right, let me see if I can get this thing to cooperate and open. We have several packets for programs of study for the 22-23 school year. They should be laid out on your desk. We'll have an opportunity to read through those and see what those are all about for our next board meeting next week.
All right, so there's the program of study, and then there's
And then the
handbooks.
elementary school, the handbooks are also here as well.
Yeah.
For the high school, middle school, and elementary and preschool. So all of the handbooks are going to be up for approval at the next meeting as well.
Gotcha. Question about the handbooks. So I assume that these have gone through principal,
Yes.
okay.
This is about the 5th or 6th revision. That we
Oh,
keep
really?
reviewing them. You know, you find a mistake or you
Oh.
find something that needs to be changed.
Oh, I was
Yes.
gonna say, are there any particular changes we should look for?
I think if you open the links there in board docs, everything
they
should
have
be
the
laid
things
out, but
that they've changed.
I didn't see anything highlighted specifically that was a change, but everything is in there.
Yeah, I saw those.
But I didn't see, like, the red marks for
I wonder if
updates.
there's any particular items we should look at.
Not really, but what we tried to do is, there's lots of sections that really should just be boilerplate, like the technology section, student attendance section, but it looked different in the elementary, looked different in the high school, looked different in the middle school. So now you have to proof it 3 times, and it really should be standard because that's district-wide. So that's really what we tried to do, just make it standard, so 10 pages read exactly the same, and then the rest of it is customized depending on whether it's high school or elementary school. So that's really the biggest change. And I don't know how they just put it in a different order with slightly different words.
And then we have updates for contact information and, you know, principal information, that kind of thing. So who's in charge at each building, that kind of stuff was updated as well.
Yeah, I do want to take some time and give these a really good looking over.
I would appreciate more eyes on
Yes.
it, just
Yeah.
to make sure. And although one thing I did want to mention, we did put in the front of it, the quality profile we sent home with a lot of the awards and good news. We thought we should put that up front in the handbooks, so when parents look at it, it's just not all, lists of things. It talks about excellence in education and all the great things that go on. So we just lifted that out of our quality profile and put it right up front,
Perfect.
because I thought it was good marketing.
Yes.
Yeah, I do like that we have a solidified elementary handbook. And I like that our direction has been kind of getting those buildings on the same page rather than feeling
Yes.
it's such a separate entity. And I like that.
And then it's 3 times the work too, because you've got to proof all 3 of them, and it does
Right.
become overwhelming.
And we need a consistency in behavior model and teaching model for those kids so that when they come to the middle school, they all have the same expectation when they come to this building rather than, different models that they've been
Exactly.
following. So this is awesome. Those 2 things were the only things listed for review under the Education Committee.
All right, thank you very much. Next on our agenda is item 6, and that's personnel, and I'll turn the floor over to Superintendent Ronan.
Oh, thank you, President Atwood. Under 6.01, retirement, I'm sorry to say, Lynn Neergard, our preschool teacher, preschool and disabilities teacher at Williams, did let us know that she is retiring she told us last week. So congratulations to Lynn. She will be missed.
Very
So,
much.
yes, very, very much, and we will be looking for a replacement because we don't have another preschool disabilities teacher in the district that can fill that role. All right, under 6.02, employment. We have Marshall Dykes is working in summer school, so that will be great. Dan Luking is, he's going through for varsity boys soccer. Then under number 3, we have pupil service contracts for athletics and also for the site coordinator and site staff for Avenues for Success, which is starting next Monday. And I believe that is all there is, those 3 items.
I believe there's 2 more.
There's
Are there 2 more?
6.03 and 04.
Oh, well, let me see.
Which is probably what we're
Oh, I
going to
see
discuss
them.
later.
Oh, yes, heavens. Then 6.03, this is our Nta contract. We will be discussing this in executive session and giving you details, but we do have a tentative agreement. and which we will be sharing with you. And I know that right now the union is also looking at ratifying. So hopefully it'll all come together later in the month or in July. So we'll have to see what the timeline is. And then 6.04 is basically giving the staff who are not covered by NTA, also making sure they get a cost of living increase. So that's what that language is. So that concludes the personnel items.
All right, are there any questions? Nope, we'll move right along to the policy committee, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Vice President Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I will be turning it over to Mrs. Chessman.
Okay.
That was a great report, Debbie. I'm so proud of you.
We have 3 policies for your consideration and 1 regulation this evening. To start with our first reading, for 3 of the policies. So the 3 policies are the Building and Grounds Policy, ECA, and we just had an addition to that policy just to articulate clearly that we're asking all staff to follow safety policies of the emergency plan. And so we drew their attention to that in 1 additional line of that policy. We didn't alter anything else in that policy, but just called that out specifically. Public participation at board meetings, KD, and also a duplicate in BDH. That's something that the board had asked for, that we clearly spell out that during the hearing of the public, that it is not appropriate for the board to immediately thereafter comment on what's been said. So that's something that the board had asked us to add into that policy. So that's available for your consideration. And then the expense reimbursement regulation, not a policy, but a regulation, just allows for if a staff member has an opportunity for professional learning for over a 3-day period, perhaps like an AP Institute or something of that nature, that we could make arrangements outside of the parameters that we usually have. So if something is less expensive, like buying food from a grocery store versus having meals out all the time, we could do those kinds of things. And that will just make it more convenient for our staff, probably a lot healthier as well. So that will be nice. And then another housing option, again, if your stay is over 3 days, to allow for a little flexibility with that. So those are the policies and the regulations that we're bringing forth for your consideration tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Vice President and Mr. President.
All right, are there any questions?
I did have one clarification.
Yes.
With the public participation, I know that time is affected if we do choose to ask a question of a presenter. That has happened in the past. Is that still in effect if we ask a clarification question, not necessarily respond directly, but if we ask a question to clarify, does that still affect their time, allow a larger window? Because I know that's usually why we wait and give grace to their 5 minutes and try to respect their time.
It is my understanding of Robert's Rules of Order that we abide by here, that once you engage in public comment, it's no longer public comment. It's now then a discussion.
Right.
And so the 5-minute window then goes out the window.
Correct.
Correct. So just be aware of that, that if somebody wanted to then take out the dictionary and just start reading from the dictionary, then
Right.
they could do that. So.
And that's why we try to respect that 5-minute window and answer once we have appropriate information and can appropriately respond through that right channel.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that, and when we've, had and asked some clarifying questions, when we've had somebody, everybody's been quite respectful, but I'm just saying that possibility is out there, and
Right.
then, once we open that door, and then we try to shut them down with that, from doing that, then that puts us in jeopardy, so. Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that was clarified, that this is why
Yeah.
that's in place.
All right, any other questions? No, with the cost increases for travel, having additional or being more flexible with how people, going to the grocery store and just buying some stuff. yeah, it's worth it.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Yes.
definitely worth it. All right, no other questions. We'll have the first reading of those policies at the official board meeting later this month. And then we'll move on to item 8 in our agenda, and this is the Building and Grounds Committee report. And I'd like to turn the floor over to board member Mrs. Rarica.
Thank you. We have 3 requests. I'll go in chronological order, not how they're listed on here. July 4th, the Norwood Fireworks Committee would like to have their annual fireworks at Shea Stadium from 6 to 11 p.m. July 16th, the Norwood Health Department and the Cincinnati Children's Hospital would like to do a cancer prevention health fair in the high school gym from 10 to 4. And August 25th, Community Council would like to have their meeting in front of our middle school from 6:30 to 8:30.
All right, thank you. I think all of those are great events.
Yeah.
I see no problems with any of those. Any questions? Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to item number 9 in our agenda. This is the Finance Committee report, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Treasurer Julie Campos.
Thank you, Mr. President. The CFO report, financial reports, and change order listings are attached for your review. In Finance Committee, we discussed our May financials and the NTA agreement in depth. 9.02 is our appropriation resolution for the current year, our budget. 9.03 is our temporary appropriations for next year. Before we spend any money in July, including payroll, we must have temporary appropriations approved. This is an important document. 9.04, Certificate of Estimated Resources. This is our final for the current year, our final estimated revenues. 9.05, Transfers and Advances. These are cash transfers from the general fund to the following funds. To the severance fund, $100,000. This fund didn't have enough cash to pay severance for our several retirees this year. To the Capital Projects Fund, $500,000 to pay for future construction projects. To the Athletics Fund, up to $35,000. The Athletic Fund is still not fully recovered from COVID-related absences to the athletic events, which is their main source of revenue. I do feel like the transfers are getting smaller, so I think they're getting more financially recovered, but just not completely yet. 9.06, property vehicle liability insurance renewal. Our quotes came in higher than in previous years just for property insurance, and that is just because of the increased valuations of properties in Norwood. The other insurances stayed the same or reduced prices a little bit. Their costs were a little less. 9.07, Warren County Career Ed Agreement, an agreement to provide special ed services per IEP for one of our students for next year. 9.08, donations to Avenues for Success from Kroger, $1,438, and Ashley Shelby did a Donors Choose fundraiser that brought in equipment donations worth $1,046 for the middle school library. So we thank her for that. That'll be a great addition to the middle school library. 9.09, Board of Revision Settlement Agreement. We reached this agreement with our attorney, Gary Stadronsky, and expect a payment on this settlement soon. 9.10, then now purchase orders. We have just a few two purchase orders that need further approval, one to Prevention First and one to Ferguson Facilities. And that is all we have for finance.
All right, so the only question that I have, and this is in regards to the settlement agreement. I believe in the agreement, it stated that the payment was due June 1st?
Yes, it's been received by our attorney.
Oh, it has?
Yes.
Okay.
So then they turn around and cut a check to us, and we just haven't received that yet.
Okay,
It's just something in the mail, I think.
perfect. Nope, that was my only question.
Yes.
All right. No, the value was, I thought the value was fair. So,
Yeah, you hate to see those happen, but we fought it fairly and got what we needed from it, so.
all right. Any other
It's
questions?
the thing that they just ruled against us in the State House, that now they're not going to warn us of these things, and we have to catch them ourselves, and
As a district, we can no longer challenge.
Yes.
Right, so it may
but
be,
homeowners.
but homeowners.
They've made the parameters so huge that it'll be difficult for us to challenge.
Holy moly. Yeah, I talked to a resident about it, and he's like, I love that stuff. And I'm like, great, keep an eye on it.
We
Make a
appreciate,
complaint, please.
we appreciate all the help we can get, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because keeping those values marketable, right, is going to lower the, what all the other non-commercial residents pay.
Yes.
Right,
So,
Gotta
yeah.
protect our,
So homeowners, it behooves you to keep an eye on what these companies are saying their properties are worth. And if they try to say that they're worth not very much, to catch them and go complain about it as a homeowner. Because if you don't, you'll have to pay more taxes, right?
that's exactly right.
Right. So they'll have to pay more taxes. And all of us as homeowners will have to pay more taxes. So
And then there's nothing.
watch those companies.
And I used to be the one fighting the fight, and I'm not allowed to fight the fight anymore, so,
Oh my goodness.
Don't we have a couple more still outstanding?
yes, we do.
But those are allowed to continue, right? Since they filed
Yes,
pre that decision?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's correct.
that's a good thing.
Homeowners, you're seeing it in action. We're saving money right now. Now you gotta do it. The state says we're not allowed.
They took away our coupon clipping, man.
all right. Any other questions related to finance? Nope. Item number 10 on our agenda, we're breezing right along here, is to enter into executive session.
President
And I would
Atwood?
like to make a motion that we enter into executive session for the following reasons. In accordance with ORC 121.22G1, the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual. Also, in accordance with ORC 121.22G4, preparing for conducting or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation, and also in accordance with ORC 121.22G6, details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body or public office. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Is it a big deal that Julie didn't do 9, 10, then and now purchase orders? Or is
She
it
did.
not a big deal?
She did.
She would?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the
Darn.
settlement we were talking about.
Oh, I thought that was the one before,
Yep.
909.
Gotta watch me.
Okay, I
I'll
don't
forget
know
stuff.
if like we were gonna break some rule by not covering it.
I think I
Just wanted
did.
to make
You did it.
sure.
Yeah, I think Julie did mention it.
Okay.
All right. Do you have a question about it?
Oh, no.
Okay.
The then and now purchase orders? No, no.
Okay. All right,
Please,
so
no.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on going into an executive session?
I have one thing before we go into executive session. I just wanted to publicly clarify, next week's meeting has moved up on a Tuesday night, so that for the folks watching, it will not be next Thursday, it will be next Tuesday,
It'd be the following Tuesday
or the
after.
following Tuesday, 21st.
The 21st.
21st. So that way, for those who look online for our regular meeting dates, it says it's on a Thursday, it's going to be on the 21st. So it'll be 6 PM, I assume, here still,
Yes.
up here on the third floor. So just for anybody wondering, it is moved 21st.
Thank you.
And then for executive session, I'll be inviting John Peter and Randall Grandstaff to our discussion. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
It is 6:25, and we are now in executive session. Agenda is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. We'll do it again on the 21st.